Hi folks, my name is Jeff Skelly, and on behalf of the MN Fishing Pros in Lakewood Lodge, I'm going to show you a few pointers today on fishing Sand Lake. Come summertime, when water temperatures start to warm up a little bit and the minnows start moving out of the shallows and into the deeper water, we'll switch our tactics from typically a jig and minnow bite to Lindy rigs. And the Lindy rig is a real simple presentation. It's been around for 100 years. It's a great way to fish the edge of weeds, over the piles of rocks that are out there. Sand Lake is full of a lot of different kinds of structure that you can utilize and fish, and that the fish are utilizing also at that time of year. But typically we'll be fishing still fishing the edge of the weeds that are coming up. And one presentation that we really do like to use a lot is the Lindy rig. And the edge of the weeds, the cabbage weeds that are emerging then, are typically the deep edge of them are about 12 feet. So we'll keep our boat drifting along or back trolling right on the edge of them weeds, pulling these Lindy rigs. For Lindy rigging, what we'll start out doing is, first of all, you're going to want to pick your weight. 1/4 ounce to 3/8 ounces is plenty of weight. What I'll do is I'll just slide the line through the tip of the needle weight, the worm weight as they're called sometimes, and right down to a number 4 barrel swivel. I'll tie on there, and then depending on how fast I'm going to be fishing or the type of structure I'm going to be fishing, I'll select a length of leader line. Typically a good starting point for that is 3 to 4 feet. What I'll do then is I'll tie that on to the other end of my barrel swivel and come right down to my hook. And this is a number 4 live bait hook. You can get them anywhere in any retail store. They work great for fishing leeches and crawlers and night crawlers. Sometimes I did add a little chartreuse bead here, and what that does is just gives the fish a little target. Fish can't eat what they can't see, and sometimes, and particularly Sand Lake, when the water is a little more colored, you want to give them a target. They can't eat, like I said, they can't eat what they can't see, and this will get that fish, particularly with night crawlers. They see that little bit of color, they'll come up and get the front half of the night crawler. Okay, now that I've kind of showed you how to put a Lindy rig together, fishing them, boat speed is fairly critical. You want to fish a Lindy rig real slow. It's called a live bait rig for a reason, and that's because the way it presents a night crawler or a leech. What you want to do is move along, like I said, real slow, and give that leech plenty of time to just kind of sit there moving along the edge of them weeds, and that leech is down there just swimming along real natural looking. Them fish are going to be laying in the edge of them weeds with their head poked out, looking out in the deep water and just waiting for something that's going to come by and they can ambush. So as you're moving along, what I like to do is fish with the bail open, just like that. Bring your bail roller up top, put the line over your index finger, flip the bail over. Now the trap is set. So as you're fishing and you feel that bite, then you can just let the line go. And what you're doing there is just going to allow that fish enough time to come up on that leech or night crawler and get the hook in their mouth. The beauty of a Lindy rig is when I let that line go and drop the sinker to the bottom, all of a sudden it's weightless. And that fish can take that bait and run and go wherever he wants to go and not feel a thing. Folks, another little trick we'll use once in a while to ease the simplicity of lengthening the Lindy rig is a simple slip bobber knot. And I'm sure you all have probably used these with bobber fishing, but they work equally as well in Lindy rigging. A lot of times when the walleyes will find them 20, 25 feet of water, we'll again grab our slip knot, pull it up to a greater length, say 6, 8, 10 foot long. This is when we'll drop this Lindy rig down in 20 feet of water, and the walleyes will be there in July and August many times deep. And what I like to do then is drop this thing straight below the boat. What I want to do is fish this Lindy rig as vertical as possible. And as I'm moving along and all of a sudden I check my Lowrance and I see a school of walleyes, as soon as I see them fish and I know that my line is perfectly vertical, I know myself and my customers are going right through that school of fish. Whereas if you had dropped this thing to the bottom and then let out a whole bunch more line and you're moving along and the boat's moving left and to the right, you're not sure if you're going through the school of fish or not. So I like to try and stay as vertical as possible, and when I'm moving along, looking for these fish. Folks, one recommendation when fishing Sand Lake and pulling these Lindy rigs is probably to stay away from the egg sinker style. Because of the different kind of rocks and stuff and bottom content we have out there, they can be a little bit miserable to fish. So depending on your boat speed, we typically will go to a bullet weight style, and if we can get away with fishing an 1/8 ounce where we're just ticking the bottom as we're moving along, that's what you're going to want to do. If you're not making bottom contact very, very often, then just go to a little bit heavier weight.